Ever watched a movie and thought, how'd they do that?
Mm,
You know, like those crazy special effects that make you believe a T-Rex could walk down the street?
right?
Well, today's deep dive, it's all about the people behind the magic,
Yeah,
special effects artists.
absolutely.
We've got a stack of RoleCatcher resources that you sent over,
Okay.
and we are ready to break it all down.
Yeah.
Not just the Hollywood glitz, but what this career really takes.
It's a good one.
So,
Yeah, it's more than just making things explode on screen.
right,
Although there's a lot of that.
of course.
What I think is really cool about this field is that it's about visual storytelling.
Oh, interesting.
Think about like a movie, like Avatar.
Okay.
How much of that impact would be lost if those landscapes didn't feel real?
Right.
Or like a historical epic where they can't build ancient Rome in a field.
You'd need a really big field.
You'd need a very big field.
Yeah.
CGI is crucial.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's easy to focus on the big explosions and stuff, but
Yeah.
you just made me realize how many subtle effects there are that we don't even think about,
Right.
that are so important
Yeah.
to how a movie looks and feels.
Totally.
And speaking of how a movie looks and feels,
Yeah.
the RoleCatcher Guide mentions working with directors.
Yes.
Is that as intense as it sounds?
It can be.
Okay.
But that's where collaboration comes in
Right.
because you're not just let loose to go wild with software.
Right.
You're really serving the director's vision.
Oh, okay.
So imagine having to create, I don't know,
Yeah.
a terrifying monster, but it also needs to make you feel sad,
Interesting.
according to what's in the script.
Right.
So that takes, not only the technical skill,
Yeah.
but the understanding of how what you're making visually contributes to the story.
So you need to be like a bit of an artist and a tech whiz.
You do.
What a combo.
Yeah.
Which actually makes me think about something that I bet a lot of people listening are wondering about.
Okay.
What's that balance like between sitting at a computer
Right.
versus being on set?
Yeah, well, it varies so wildly depending on the project
Right.
and what you specialize in.
Okay.
Because the guide mentions safety protocols,
It does.
especially with practical effects,
Okay.
like pyrotechnics.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Now, while a lot of that work is planned digitally these days,
Right.
someone still has to actually do it on location.
That's true. Yeah.
So even if you are mostly behind a screen,
Yeah.
being comfortable with that blend of the digital and the real-world application
Yeah.
is really important.
That's wild to think about.
It is kind of wild.
Yeah.
It's a cool job.
It is a cool job.
Yeah.
So we got this blend of artistry, technical skills.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay.
What does the day-to-day actually look like for someone with this job? Is it all long nights and crazy deadlines?
Well, the guide doesn't really sugarcoat that part.
Okay.
The entertainment industry, especially film and game development,
Right.
known for tight deadlines, demanding schedules, but
Yeah.
but there's also just this amazing energy to it. Everyone working together to make something amazing.
Right.
And imagine seeing what you worked on,
Yeah.
like on the big screen.
That would be incredible.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. There's got to be an amazing rush that comes with that.
Oh, yeah.
But I imagine there are some downsides
Oh, for sure.
that aren't as glamorous.
Right.
What are some of the hurdles that someone who's interested in this
Yeah.
should be ready for?
Well, I mean, competition is fierce.
Makes sense.
There are so many talented people in the industry, so
Right.
you really have to stand out.
Okay.
And it's not just enough to be good at the software,
Right.
like Adobe After Effects or Maya, which the guide mentions.
Okay.
You have to be adaptable
Okay.
and constantly learning
Right.
because
It
technology
changes fast.
changes so fast in this field. Yeah.
Right.
What's cutting edge today
Yeah.
is old news tomorrow.
That's true. So
Oh.
how do you stay ahead of the curve like that
Right.
when it's such a fast-paced industry?
Yeah.
Are we talking like constantly reading tech manuals?
Well, those help.
Okay.
But I think more than anything, it's
Yeah.
about having this mindset of continuous learning.
Okay.
So the best special effects artists are just so curious, always experimenting.
Okay.
They're active in those online communities,
Oh, right.
sharing their knowledge, seeing what other people are doing.
So like places like Behance and ArtStation.
Exactly. The guide highlights those.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to just dive into a new piece of software
Okay.
or try a different way of doing something to get a specific effect.
So it really is like the learning never stops in this field.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You're
Constantly building your skills.
Yeah, expanding that toolkit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
So you've got this awesome combination of like the skills,
Yeah.
the artistic stuff, and just this drive to always learn.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the work itself?
Right.
The guide mentioned specializations.
Yes.
Things like 3D animation,
It does.
VFX.
Uh-huh.
What's the difference?
Right.
How does someone decide which way to go?
So that's where understanding each one really comes in, because 3D animation and VFX, they get used kind of interchangeably,
Oh, okay.
but they are different.
Okay.
So think of it this way.
Okay.
3D animation is creating something from nothing. So like bringing a dinosaur skeleton to life,
Cool.
giving it movement and personality.
Okay.
VFX is about then taking that
Right.
and integrating it into live action,
Oh, I see.
making sure the lighting matches.
Right.
The movement is believable.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the effect is convincing.
Okay, that's a really helpful distinction.
Yeah.
So if you're someone who loves the idea of building characters,
Yeah.
creatures from scratch,
Yeah.
3D animation might be it.
Totally.
But if you love the challenge of like blending the fantasy and reality,
Yeah.
then VFX.
VFX is for you.
Okay.
There you go.
This is already super helpful for figuring out what it takes to like
Yeah.
succeed as a special effects artist.
And we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, wow.
But the good news is these RoleCatcher resources you have, they go even deeper,
Okay.
breaking down the specific skills and software
Excellent.
that you need.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We will definitely dig into all of those
Yes.
a little bit later.
Sounds good.
But first, let's take a closer look at the career path.
Okay.
The guide mentions going from junior to intermediate to senior levels.
It does, yeah.
What does that actually look like?
Right.
For someone starting out,
Yeah. What can they expect?
what can they expect in those early years?
Yeah.
So we've talked about the skills and the specializations,
Yeah.
this drive to always be learning.
Yeah.
But what about like actually landing a job in this field?
Right.
You sent over some RoleCatcher materials
Yes.
on common interview questions for special effects artists. And like, let me tell you, some of these are intense.
Yeah, they're designed to make you think on your feet a little bit,
Right.
which you have to be able to do in this industry. You
Yeah.
know, you're not just showing your technical abilities.
Right.
You're also showing how you problem solve.
Right.
And how you'd work on a team.
Which reminds me of a question that I saw
Yeah.
in the RoleCatcher guide.
Okay.
It was, can you walk us through your process for creating a special effect?
Right.
It's not enough to just be like, oh, I'm good at After Effects.
Yeah, you got to show your work.
Yeah.
You got to show them how you think.
Yes.
Yeah, this is your moment to take them behind the curtain of
Yeah.
your process.
Right.
Let's say you're making a big explosion.
Okay.
Where do you even begin?
Yeah.
Do you research real explosions? Do you do storyboards to map it out?
Right.
You know, being able to articulate that is
Yeah.
really important.
So you're not just showing them what you made.
Right.
You're showing them how you think,
Exactly.
like how it happens in your brain.
Yeah, and everyone's is going to be different,
That's true.
which is what makes it such a good question.
Right.
They get to see how you tick.
It's like, what makes you,
Yeah.
as an artist?
Totally.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to get specific.
Okay.
You know, like what software did you use?
Yeah.
What challenges did you face?
Right.
What decisions did you make?
Interesting.
Like if you had a limited budget
Right.
or a technical limitation,
Yeah.
all that stuff shows that you can problem solve.
Yeah. That you can think on your feet.
Yes, exactly.
Because that happens all the time, right?
Yeah,
Like
yes.
a deadline's coming up.
Right.
The director's like, no, the explosion needs to be bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More is more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
another question from the guide
Okay.
that seems designed to test how you handle pressure.
Okay.
Can you describe a project where you faced a technical challenge
Uh-huh.
and how you overcame it?
That's a classic.
Yeah.
And it's not about showing off. It's about your resilience.
Okay.
How you learn from your mistakes.
Right, because we all make mistakes.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Especially in a field this complicated.
Yeah.
But it's how you approach it
Yeah.
that makes you stand out.
So it's not about pretending that you're perfect
Right.
and you've never messed up.
Oh, of course not.
But it's like showing that you could figure it out,
Exactly.
that you can analyze it
Yeah.
and get to a solution.
And that often means asking for help.
That's true.
Or learning something new really quickly.
Right.
So did you have to go to online forums?
Right.
Talk to another artist?
Yeah, like a mentor or something.
Exactly. Or read the manual.
Oh, yeah.
All those things show how resourceful you are.
Right.
And your commitment to learning.
Which is so key in this.
Super key.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's always changing.
Right.
It's almost like those moments where you're like, banging your head against the wall trying to figure something out.
Right.
Those are the moments that you learn the most.
You learn so much from those moments of frustration.
Yes.
And don't forget about your soft skills.
Oh, that's true.
You know, like...
So, like, working with other people.
Yeah. Did you have to explain a technical thing to someone who doesn't understand all that stuff?
That's a skill in and of itself.
It really is.
Yeah.
Or did you have to work with someone
Yeah.
who had a totally different idea than you?
Right.
You know, all that stuff matters.
That's teamwork.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is about finding that balance.
It's all about balance. Yeah.
You know, being that technical wizard,
Yeah, that's important.
but also
Yeah.
being a good communicator.
Right. Being a good person to be around.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're in that kind of high pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not cracking under pressure.
Exactly.
Which actually reminds me of another question
Okay.
from the RoleCatcher Guide. It was, how did you get interested in special effects?
Oh, yeah.
Which seems like kind of a simple question at first,
Right.
but it's a chance to really show your passion.
It really is.
Right.
Yeah, it's your chance to tell your story
Yeah.
and connect with whoever's interviewing you.
Right.
On a human level.
Yeah, because it's not just about like, oh, I like movies.
I like movies. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about a film that you love.
What?
Or a game. Maybe a behind-the-scenes thing that you saw.
Yeah, like a making of documentary or something.
Exactly. Something that made you want to do this.
Yeah, show them that you're not just there for a paycheck.
Right.
You're there because you love it.
You love it. Yeah.
And I bet a good way to do that is with personal projects.
Oh, for sure.
The guide mentions Behance and ArtStation.
Yes. Those are key for a good portfolio.
Your portfolio? It's like your calling card.
It is.
Yeah.
It's where you show off your style and your skills.
Right. And don't wait until you have a job.
No, start now.
Yeah.
Personal projects are the best way to experiment,
Okay.
to develop, and just to show that you're passionate about this kind of stuff.
Because you're doing it in your free time.
Exactly. You're doing it because you love it.
And it's not about just having a lot of like flashy things.
Right. It's got to be more than just flash.
The guide really emphasizes
It does.
showing a lot of different things that you can do.
Versatility, yeah.
Yeah.
Show that you can do it all.
Like you can do the explosions,
Yes.
but also
Yeah.
the character animation, the environment design.
That's the compositing, all of
really
it.
well-rounded.
Yeah.
A jack of all trades,
A little bit, yeah.
but a master of all.
Ideally.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
This is great. This is like you're giving us the inside scoop
Happy to help.
on not just what it takes to be a special effects artist,
Yeah.
but how to actually like show that to people.
Yes, to get the job.
We've talked about a lot.
We've covered a lot of ground.
The technical stuff, the soft skills, building a portfolio.
Yeah. It's a lot.
What would you say
Yeah.
is the most important thing for someone just starting out?
Honestly.
Yeah.
Be persistent.
Okay.
Never stop learning.
Okay.
Because becoming a successful artist, it's not a straight line.
Right.
There's going to be setbacks and rejections.
Yeah, that's any creative field, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's in those moments where you learn the most.
That's a good point.
Embrace those failures.
Yeah, it's about the journey,
Exactly.
not just the destination.
Be open to new opportunities,
Yes.
even if it's not what you thought you'd be doing.
That's true.
You never know what you might learn
That's a great point.
or who you'll meet.
Yeah.
That might change everything.
Right. It's all about connections.
It really is. A lot of it is, yeah.
Yeah.
The more you learn,
Yeah.
the better you'll be at navigating this crazy industry.
It is a crazy industry.
Yeah, but it's a fun one.
This has been incredibly insightful.
Glad to hear it.
We've covered so
It
much
bettered a lot, yeah.
from the technical stuff to like
Yeah,
how you actually present yourself as an artist.
the whole package.
But we're not done yet.
More to come.
The RoleCatcher materials go even further
We do.
into like what the career path actually looks like.
Step by step, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so helpful for anyone who's new.
Right. Because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you know the skills,
Right.
but how do I actually make this a job?
Exactly. How do I get to that next level?
Okay. So after the break, that's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Let's do it.
All right. So we're back
Let's do it.
and ready to talk about
Yeah.
the career path.
Okay, so we've talked about the skills.
Yes.
We've talked about how to answer those tough questions in an interview.
Right.
But
Yeah,
now...
it's like, what does the actual job look like?
Yeah, what does it look like day to day?
Yeah.
Long term?
Yeah.
How do you actually move up in this field?
And thankfully, we've got those RoleCatcher resources that
Yep.
break it all down.
They do.
They really do.
Yeah, they outline that whole progression.
Yeah.
From junior artists to those industry veterans.
Okay, so someone just starting out,
Yes.
fresh out of school,
Uh-huh.
maybe they taught themselves.
Right.
They've got this killer portfolio.
Yeah, what can they expect?
What are those first few years like as a junior artist?
So it sounds like being a junior artist is kind of like being thrown in the deep end,
Okay.
but you got those floaties on.
Okay, I like that analogy.
You're working on real projects. So
Yeah.
you're assisting the more senior artists
Yeah.
and you're contributing to like
Yeah.
big movies, big video games.
That's way cooler than getting coffee.
Way cooler.
Yeah.
You're doing the thing.
But I imagine it's also really intimidating.
Oh, for sure.
So what does the guide say about what's important at that stage?
So knowing the software is super important.
Okay.
Obviously, like I said, After Effects,
Right.
Maya.
Those are the big ones.
Those are the big ones, yeah.
Okay.
But what's interesting is the guide also talks a lot about
Yeah.
teamwork
Oh,
and
weird.
communication.
Okay.
So even if you can make the coolest effect,
Yeah.
if you can't explain it to someone
Right.
or take feedback,
Right.
you're not going to last very long.
So it's not enough to just be that, like, lone genius.
Exactly.
You have to be able to work with other people.
You got to be a team player
Yeah.
and be open to criticism because
Yeah.
you're there to learn.
So you're building your reputation.
Yeah. Yes. And your portfolio.
Yeah.
At the same time,
Yeah.
you're making connections.
So let's say you've put in the time.
Yeah.
You've honed your skills.
Okay.
Now you're moving up to that intermediate level.
Yeah. What does that look like?
What changes?
So the guide actually talks about mentorship here,
Oh, interesting.
which I think is really cool.
Okay.
So you're not just doing your own work.
Right.
You're now guiding the more junior artists.
That's a big responsibility.
It is a big responsibility.
You're not just responsible for yourself anymore,
That's right.
but you're also, like, shaping the next generation.
Exactly. You're paying it forward.
And that shows that you really get it.
It does.
Like, you're not just good at the technical stuff.
You've mastered the technical stuff,
Yeah.
and now you can teach it.
You can teach it.
Which is a whole other thing that,
Yeah.
you know, you can explain it to someone who's never even...
Right, who's just starting out.
is just starting out. Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of growth potential in that stage.
Tons.
Okay, but eventually you get to that peak,
Yeah.
the top of the mountain,
Top of the VFX world,
the senior
the
artists.
senior artists.
What sets those folks apart?
They're like the generals, you know,
Okay.
of the VFX army.
They've got the whole battle plan.
The whole battle plan, they're not just experts themselves.
Oh.
They're leading the teams.
Right.
They're managing the projects.
Wow.
And they're working directly with the director.
So they really see that big picture
I see the big picture. Yeah, they have to make those big decisions.
and make sure everything comes together.
Make sure it all comes together on time and on budget.
Right, which is never easy.
Never easy.
So you need those technical skills,
You got to have them.
the artistic side,
Can't forget that part.
but you also have to be a leader,
Yeah.
a mentor, a problem solver.
You got it.
This is a high pressure, high reward kind of career.
The stakes are high,
Yeah.
but so are the rewards.
Yeah.
You know, seeing your name in the credits of a big movie.
That's got to feel good.
That's pretty special.
And even at that senior level,
Yeah, even then,
you're still learning.
always learning. Yeah. Always got to be learning those new technologies.
Right. Because it changes so fast.
The software is always changing.
Yeah.
New stuff is coming out all the time.
Which is also kind of what makes it exciting, right?
Exactly. You're never bored. There's always something new to learn.
Something new to figure out.
Something new to blow people's minds with.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's that passion, that excitement.
Yeah.
That's what really defines a special effects artist.
That's what makes someone successful in this field.
At any level.
At every level. Yeah.
Yeah.
From junior all the way to senior.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
This has been fantastic.
It's been fun.
We've learned so much about special effects artists.
All thanks to these awesome resources you sent.
Yes.
RoleCatcher is great.
They are great.
So much good info.
We've covered the skills, the challenges,
The whole 9 yards.
the career path, everything.
The whole shebang.
Hopefully we've inspired some future VFX wizards out there.
Get out there and make some movie magic.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
This has been The Deep Dive.
Until next time.
Signing off.